Welcome to the DigiTech Leaders Series. My name's Paul Foster. I head up Skylan Recruitment. I use this series really to shine a spotlight on certain individuals that are disrupting their space. And today I'm really chuffed to be having Kit. He's the co-founder of a new HealthTech platform that's really making waves in the industry. Kit is the co-founder of Credentially. How you doing, Kit? Welcome to the show.
Hi, yeah, I'm good, thank you. Good to be here.
Good stuff. Kit, one of the things that I'm really curious to learn more about is you're a trained A&E doctor. Can you tell us, myself and our viewers, what inspired you to actually go ahead and set up a DigiTech company?
Yeah, sure. I trained as a doctor. I worked in accident and emergency. And when you're practicing that environment, seconds are sort of really important. And what I found was that often when you're practicing, you're really slowed down either by sort of slow processes or bureaucracy or administration, or kind of very poor software, so kind of poor digital tools. I was really frustrated by that because often you're practicing in sort of an environment where it is literally life or death sometimes, and I was really frustrated by that lack of efficiency. And so I went back and did a master's in using technology to improve healthcare, and I met my co-founder there. He had experience of working on large health software projects, and also the international bone marrow donor matching algorithm. A really smart guy, and we both sort of bonded over the poor state of most medical software and the kind of the bureaucratic nature of healthcare, and we both really wanted to do something about that. So we initially entered a couple of business competitions. We won those. We entered a pretty competitive accelerator called Techstars, got a place there. And that really was kind of the genesis of our company and how we got started.
Brilliant. So with regards to making more efficiencies within the healthcare, that's such a broad range. So how did you decide on your product, and perhaps tell us a little bit about what your platform does?
Sure. So we had this idea really. In any health system in the world, whether it's sort of America, Burkina Faso, wherever it is, the biggest cost is always staffing. And so we really had this idea that their staff time is very important, it's very valuable, and also making sure that those staff are looked after is really important. And so we had this idea of, rather than focusing on the clinical side of things where we could make some improvements, but it's a very challenging commercial environment, we knew that lots of the providers that we were speaking with all the time had very, very outdated methods for doing really basic but really necessary work around HR, compliance, signing up new staff members. And so we started to work with a few of them on a project to see if we could automate much of that process of signing up a new clinician, keeping them compliant with the regulation, making sure they were trained, they'd read all of your policies, all of that, and using machine learning to try and really speed that up.
Brilliant, good news. So in terms of I suppose the return on investment for a client, so would you say your end client essentially would be primary care trusts, or who is the end client?
Potentially, yeah. So anyone that's providing health services is a client of us, and also people that are providing recruitment services to healthcare, so staffing agencies that provide healthcare staff. Anyone really that has to take a staff member from the first contact they have with them to be fully validated and safe to work with patients, and then keeping them compliant throughout the year.
Brilliant. Okay, so with the emergence of lots of health tech platforms out there, how would you say yours is different? How would you say yours is unique if you compare it to the others out there right now?
Yeah, I'd say what makes us special is that we are a software company, first and foremost. So there's lots of health tech platforms that are looking to be either a provider themselves or they're looking to provide agency services. What we're looking to do is to really own and become excellent at the onboarding, compliance, and then ongoing management of those staff. And so really what we see ourselves as being is sort of a tech specialist in that. And so what we'd want to do with those other kind of digital health platforms is actually to work with them. We don't want our software to do everything. We just want to be the best at what we do. And I think we've achieved that.
Brilliant. So you mentioned that you and your co-founder were part of an accelerator program, and that's helped you on your journey. Where, just for our viewers' sake, in terms of the growth journey, it'd be good to learn a little bit about where you come from, where you are now, and then the more important question everyone wants to know is, where do you want to go? What's the vision for the business?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So if you could let us know, that'd be really, really interesting.
Sure. So we started the business in April 2016.
Yeah.
Since then, we built a couple of prototypes. Found one that had really strong interest from the industry. We got some initial traction, raised initially a crowdfunding round, mostly from clinical staff and doctors, interestingly. We then used that funding to begin kind of the scale up of our product, do some further iterations. And then recently, we attracted a couple of high quality investors that wanted to do a seed round, closed that seed round in August, and now really using those funds to really grow quickly. So we're scaling up our team. We're looking to scale the product, firstly in the UK, but ultimately the plan for the business and what sort of I've got my eye on in the near term future is expanding the product to different countries, particularly the United States, Australia, Canada, and possibly some countries in the Middle East.
Brilliant, good news. So in terms of that vision, that's obviously a strong vision. It may be hard for you to answer, but in terms of putting a timeline against that, what are we talking? When would you hope to perhaps be in, let's say, the US, for example?
Sure. So the plan is over the next 15 months to scale up our operations in the UK. Part of that time will be spent fundraising to scale up the business in the US. That will be a separate fundraise from US-based investors, as well as our existing investors. And so that's sort of the timeline. Kind of this 15-month period is really to focus on the UK market, and after that it's internationalization.
Brilliant. So it's a good aggressive plan. Wonderful. And if you was to describe as it stands now, because the business is going to grow, but as it stands now, how would you describe the culture of the business?
So I think we have a very open culture. When people disagree with me, I expect them to tell me, and they do. And we share we all share a same office, so it's not sort of people sort of going off into a huddle and whispering. Everybody kind of knows what's going on. They have a stake in it. We have an office dog who's a lot of fun. So really what we want is sort of a friendly, informal, but kind of motivated and productive working environment. We've also half of our teams are based out in Belarus as well. So my business partner Artem and his wife Julia, who work for the business, they're both from Belarus, and so a lot of our development work actually happens over there. And so it's a really interesting place, and there's kind of we sometimes go out there for our company events. So we took them all out kayaking not so long ago, which was awesome. And yeah, we plan to be out there in the summer again for sort of a big corporate party.
Good news. So as you scale and as you need to grow, there's obviously an element of that is to recruit and to bring in people to the business. But that said, you've already brought people in successfully. What would you put that down to? Why do people join your business, and why do they stay?
I think what most people, when they see our product, particularly if they have any experience of the healthcare industry or in HR tech in general, can see that what we've got is something special. And it's that kind of special product and special technology that's allowed us to enter a very difficult to enter market that's very competitive, and to get meetings with some of the biggest players in the UK in terms of providers and kind of recruitment providers. Yeah. So I think the technology is a big part of it. I think the culture, we really care about nurturing our staff. We also have, we've worked with interns, really high quality people that have then gone on to do kind of investment banking, get health policy jobs, work for really good consultancy firms. So we really take kind of developing our people seriously. And also, yeah, I think, we try and have fun and we treat people with respect.
Good news. And that leads nicely on to my next question. It's a very difficult thing to, once you onboard new staff, and you develop them, is, you know, what we all try to do is to take an individual or a team and make them a better version of themselves, because it helps the business grow. It's great to see and it's great to do. How do you do that? What's your take on developing and really improving staff in terms of skills or knowledge?
Yeah, well, I think as you know, kind of from our interaction together, I like to read a lot from the best practice in the industry, so people that have been really successful at doing what it is that we're trying to do. So whether that's scaling a sales operation or doing really creative marketing. As a team, we went to Web Summit, we went to the SaaStr conference, both of which are incredible learning opportunities and really productive for us, and a lot of fun as well. So you know, education and training, either kind of books. I buy my team a lot of books, a lot of audio books as well. We also have a training package that we use from SaaStr that's really, really good. Really high quality. And then I think on top of that, it's just sort of closely working with people and kind of where appropriate and where it's useful, mentoring people. So I think most people want to do a good job. They want to feel their skills getting better over time. They don't want to feel that they're stagnating. And I find that really motivating too. So I think that's sort of what we try and do.
Brilliant. Well, that's been a really great insight into the business there, Kit, and thank you ever so much for your time. I'm very excited about the future and where you guys are going to take it, and we'll obviously we'll pay close attention. But I wish you all the best of luck in the future.
Thank you very much. It's great talking to you.
Take care.